Hi, I'm Mario Mendes and this is Just Listen, with suggestions for excellent music for your ears. You just heard the very start of the excellent album by Patricia Barber called Clique. A female artist that doesn't easily fit the usual descriptions of jazz idioms, couldn't have an easy time gaining critical and audience recognition. Patricia Barber endured years of bad reviews and low exposure, while building her unique style of piano and vocal performance on her own and standard compositions. Only after Blue Note acquired small label Premonition, for which Barber recorded several albums, big label marketing started to work in her favor. Clique is her latest album, issued in 2021 on Impex label. Accompanying instruments to Barber's piano and vocal are acoustic bass, drums, acoustic guitar, and tenor saxophone. Patrick Mulcahy on bass has most prominent sound on the album, beside Barber's vocal and piano. The album couldn't start better than it does. Opening track is This Town, a song mostly associated with Frank Sinatra. Right from the first notes, we are reminded why we love Patricia Barber's music so much. Pristine recording quality and dynamic performances. The album was mastered by legendary Bob Ludwig. You could have just listened to the wonderfully recorded double bass of Patrick Mulcahy starting this performance. Patricia Barber soon joins in, and although you are sure you don't need anyone else because these two make so much music and rhythm, they are later joined by Barber's piano and John Dittmeyer's drum kit. Next on is Ella Fitzgerald's trademark song Trouble is a Man. Again, the melody is driven by unrelenting power of Patrick Mulcahy bass and rolling percussion rhythm. I don't know how Patricia Barber does it, but she is a rare kind of female vocal that has limited range but has found a way to portray a feeling with just as much authority as jazz divas of the past. There are moments in this performance of Trouble is a Man that show this softness and Patricia Barber's approach to paint of sadness and worrisome.
Trouble is a man who's handsome, that's all. After all we planned, he didn't mean it.
Next composition is Mashup, a Patricia Barber's original composition. An instrumental that breaks up a string of vocal renditions of standards that this album actually is. With quite ambitious melodic structure, this composition is a refreshing step away from what starts to look like another standards album after first two tracks. Well-known composition, one-note Samba, written by Antonio Carlos Jobim in 1960s, is the weakest track on Clique. With not so good vocal performance in Portuguese and guitar that sounds lazy to me. I Could Have Danced All Night, a song from the musical My Fair Lady, brings Patricia Barber back to what she does best, that rational vocal that uses clever phrasing to lead us into believable performance, until her piano takes over and emphasizes the melody. She sings successfully in a very simple form to create the atmosphere that words of the standard describe.
I only know when she began to dance with me, I could have danced and danced all night.
The in crowd is so much in Barber's music style that I could swear I heard it from her a long time before Clique was released. Again, the strong double bass leads us into the composition with Barber's vocal and piano slowly making room for the melody. Still, the bass line is the main anchor throughout this interpretation of this standard. Barber's piano is full of flair and her hands fly over the keyboard effortlessly, in such a contrast to the heavy bass sound that is just pushing forward the time and the rhythm. It just demands your attention.
I'm in with the in crowd. I go where the in crowd goes. I'm in with the in crowd, and I know what the in crowd knows.
Shall We Dance, as the next track, is too slow for my taste. I'm always pulled toward Cassandra Wilson's interpretation of this standard, and Barber's rendition just feels too light and too casual. Straight No Chaser by Thelonious Monk is second instrumental on the album. Less complex in structure, but I can say that those two instrumental performances are my favorite tracks on the Clique. Patricia Barber's piano is confined in the rather narrow space on the left side of the soundstage on this track, but it creates a lot of sound, ranging from rain droplets type of style of playing all the way to some of the loudest piano parts on the whole album. Both bass and drums are also very present here. All in Love is Fair, straightforward but beautiful rendition of Stevie Wonder's well-known standard. Barber uses her voice perfectly, not overstretching her capabilities, while her piano is subtle and in the second plan. Such an emotional performance for the closing of this memorable album.
All is fair in love. Love's a crazy game.
Patricia Barber doesn't give many interviews. Here's one occasion on which she expresses her concern for the future of the music, dumbed down by lack of education of an average listener.
Right these days, I'm not very optimistic about the future of music at all. I find I talk to my friends who are classical musicians, and they have to spend as much time explaining to the audience what they're about to sing as they do sing. Have you noticed yourself going to the classical concerts that the conductors give a long talk, the composers give a long talk? There's a lot of education going on in the middle of performance, much more than there used to be, because there was so much education and context that came from the record stores, from the liner notes. You know, you pick
packaging.
you pick out a Elis Regina and you get interested in Brazilian music and you see all the Brazilian music, and then boom, you have historical context. You pick out John Coltrane and you get interested in his rhythm section and you find out about Bill Evans or McCoy Tyner or Miles Davis, and you know, and there isn't that anymore.
Clique was recorded and produced by Jim Anderson, 11 times Grammy Awards winning recording engineer and a producer. He's an old associate of Barber, who trusts him completely at making her and band sound so vivid on the record. This is next in string of excellent albums for Patricia Barber and highly recommended. Check out her earlier work, it's a treasure trove of great music and high quality recordings. Link to SONGWHIP in the description lets you choose your preferred streaming service. Thank you for watching.